So hello viewers, welcome back to the channel and my name is Monu Mishra. Today we have very special guest with us. We have Professor S.K. Varshney with us, who is presently the advisor as well as head of international corporation at Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So I welcome you sir to the channel and thank you very much for your time.
Namaskar. Thank you.
So we have couple of questions for sir so that he can share his immense knowledge and practical experience with you guys. So let's start with the questions. Sir, the first question is, where does India stand in terms of STEM and what are the key challenges in future?
Well, I am very happy to share that India is improving its position steadily. We are currently number 3 in terms of research publication as per NSF data,
Yes.
and number 5 as per Scopus data.
Yes, sir.
So this shows that how we are there, and the happiest thing is that our growth of research publication is quite high, highest in the world, 14%. So this is quite good. If you see other steps taken by government for ease of doing research, then it has also reflected in continuous growth of India in global innovation index. So we are now in top 50.
Okay.
So just 6 years ago we were in top 80.
Wow.
So continuous rise, and currently we are number 46. So I am quite happy the way we are going, and we are stressing not only on traditional research, but also we are promoting culture of incubation, startups, and asking our graduates and researchers to go all out in whatever way they feel like. As far as challenges are concerned, we are a country of 1.3 billion population.
Yes, sir.
And our population is increasing.
Yes, sir.
So if I take the basic challenges, for example, food for everybody, we have got increasing population, so more number of mouths to be fed, and then we are having a reduction in agriculture land and agriculture manpower.
Yes, sir.
Which means that food would become a big challenge
Yes.
in near future. Similarly, for this kind of population, we require water, energy, and we need to see all possible solutions. Now you can't increase rain,
Yes, sir.
so fresh water remain very limited. Now only thing is how we can make good use of it,
Yes, sir.
how we can divert and rationalize our water, that remains to be seen. Similarly, energy, we are one of the energy deficient country,
Yes, sir.
and we need to see what are the good channels of generating energy.
Yes.
We need smart grids,
Yes, sir.
we need more efficient materials for storing the energy. Similarly, if we take our health, for our common citizens, for people living in remote areas, hilly areas, they need to travel 100 to 200 kilometers just to get a test done.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely
That's a very challenging situation which we need to address. Currently, we are living in Delhi, and we know how the pollution level is,
right. Yes, sir.
which is a cause of huge concern. Now, what we are saying, these are the common challenges,
Yes, sir.
so which anybody can relate. Now, coming to the latest scientific developments, we need to see how newer technology, for example, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, supercomputing, they can help us answering these questions.
Okay. Sir, considering these challenges, I see that the young students, those who are in their school or they are in their bachelor or master degree, they are very much inclined to science. Like, I think science is getting popular these days very much. So, but they have very limited facilities in schools. They have very limited number of experiments that they can do, or in colleges they have very limited facilities what they can do. So if someone who is in the bachelor's, master or school level, if they want to gain some hands-on research experience at any institute, say IITs, NITs or any central institute, how can they do that? And is there any particular policy to support them by DST?
Oh yes, in fact DST has been promoting curiosity.
Yes, sir.
And we run a program along with Economics Times called Power of Ideas.
Okay.
And basic concept is each one of us do not appreciate problems faced by others.
Yes.
And problem sometimes is so local, sometime at city level, sometime state level, national level or global. But problem to our solution has to be found by us.
Yes, sir.
DST runs a program called Inspire,
Yes, sir.
Inspire Manak,
Yes, sir.
for a student right in class 6 to 10.
Okay.
And we are asking them if they could give us some solutions
Mm-hmm.
to the problem being faced by them.
Okay.
Okay. So, this is at a time when they are still learning up, we are asking them to use their imaginatory skills and work out a solution. I am so happy that this program, which starts with nearly 1 million idea, gives us 10 to 12 patentable ideas.
Oh.
Okay. So, that is the power of our young children. Similarly, we have launched program like Vigyan Jyoti.
Okay.
We have launched program like Jigyasa.
Jigyasa, yes.
Okay. So, there are several programs where we are exposing our young generations to see how scientific experiments are done, and if they have curiosity, they would like to perform one, we would like to provide them opportunity not only by interaction with their peers or leaders in those fields, but also a hands-on training for a limited period. Now, for senior students who are PhD students or master students, we have got visiting scientist program.
Okay.
And these students who can go, and for teachers also, for example, college teachers who colleges very often, our colleges very often do not have research facilities. So, those faculty members who have got research questions in their mind, but do not have infrastructure, we also encourage them that they could go to national institution for a limited period, whatever their college permits. Similarly, for research students, for 2 to 3 months, if they could go and work in institution of eminence in the country, so that they could try out their ideas. So, there are number of schemes at each level in operation.
So, basically DST operates a lot of schemes, and then you have to go to the website and see which one do you fit in.
Correct, correct.
Sir, my next question is, it also bothers me because I am running a channel, I get so many comments and so many questions from people from Instagram to everything. What I personally feel is PhD is not everyone's cup of tea. The question here is, who should do a PhD and who should not do a PhD, and what are the things that you should keep in mind before starting a PhD?
You know, PhD should not be considered like another degree.
Yes.
Like we do graduation, post graduation. So, sometimes people do even PhDs, and PhD is considered being done for several reasons. I tell you, several insignificant reasons.
Yes, sir.
Now, those insignificant reasons, waiting for the golden period to get a job or to get married, and in between I can do PhD.
Yes.
Okay. Or somebody has qualified UGC, CSIR or one of the examination and is eligible to receive funding. So, the fellow will take admission into PhD. I think this is to be avoided.
Yes, sir.
When we are going for PhD, idea should be to create knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We should generate new knowledge, and also it would be nice if we could see where that new knowledge could be applied.
Yes, sir.
So, if you can do first part, that is good, but if you can do first and second part, that is generation of knowledge and its application, fantastic.
Okay.
Now, whenever you are going for a research program, always have a question in mind. This is what I would like to work on.
Yes.
Don't allow system to be allotted you to someone to some random topic.
Yes.
Because what happens several times, our students, they would take admission in any of the institutions and they don't know who should be the guide. They just randomly opt for someone, or system will allot someone. Okay. And then they are given to a particular mentor or guide or teacher, and then they will do work on themes whatever he or she suggested. I would instead prefer if our research scholars are upfront okay, I would like to work on this and this issue, this is what I would like to address, and if I could work out a solution, fantastic.
I think that should come from their master's level. They should explore their area of interest in their master thesis as well.
Yeah.
Because many times it happens like you did nothing in your master thesis just and qualify the examination, and you went to an institute and just you get a guide, and that's how you started.
Yeah.
Sir, another question I would like to add in this: who should not do a PhD, as per your experience?
So you see, people have got different kind of things. First of all, I must tell you, each one of us is a researcher.
Yes, sir.
Okay, whether we are doing PhD or not, even a school child who wants to generate a new excuse to his teacher,
Yes, sir.
he is a researcher because the farmer on the farm who is trying to increase the crop yield, reduce pesticide, insecticide, trying new, is a researcher.
Yes, sir.
So each one of us is a researcher somehow, but should you go for PhD or not, that is a very difficult question. So now what happens that when we are going for PhD, we are at such a critical age where different people have different expectations. Our parents are expecting that you should be independent. If you are not earning full-fledged, at least you should not be a liability on them.
Yes, sir.
Your teachers are expecting that you will contribute to their field.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as a child you have several idea. I would do startup, I would do business, I would do job, or I want a secure future, so I would go in such and such field. I think we need to make our choices very clear.
Okay.
I still feel unless you are passionate about something,
Yes, sir.
don't go for research. If that कीड़ा आपके अंदर नहीं खुलबुला रहा ना, तो you cannot be a successful.
Yes.
You could publish, you could do something, but that drive
Yes, sir.
will not be there.
So that's the main highlight. Until or unless you want to do it, don't do it.
Yes.
Sir, next question is, nowadays we see, even I promote, I do such kind of videos, like a lot of people want to go abroad for their PhD, and they want to explore what is new there. But my question is, who should go abroad? Because everyone wants to go abroad for their PhD, and the reasons are very much different. I hear a lot of random excuses that should not be the motivation of going abroad. But who should go abroad for a PhD, and why?
You see, we are a land of mixed kind of institutions. We have got institutions which are very well funded like IIT, AIMS, IISc, IIM. Then we have got institutions which are funded to the tone like university, several central and state university you can find, some of the private institutions also. But then there are large number of institutions who do not have research infrastructure.
Yes.
Okay. Now when question comes that who should go abroad, there are several parameters. The major parameter is who gets the fellowship.
Okay.
Now if you are going with your or your parental money, then I think you should need to think again
Yes.
that is it wise decision. There may be some compulsion, some region, but I still feel that if you are worth, the receiving organization will give you some facilities. They may not give you 100% scholarship, but at least 50%, 40%, some substantial contribution should come even from the host, recognizing your talent,
Yes,
your skill set. So I would recommend those kind of people to go abroad.
We have like discussion on those who want to go and get an opportunities, but a large chunk of students didn't get the opportunity, and they are doing well in India as well. So is there any scheme, or is there any support from DST in order to support them to get an international exposure, so that they can have a short research stay or conference, anything? Does DST any scheme, or we have any scheme to get them international exposure?
You see, there are several programs. One of the program is for some privileged students, like those who have qualified DST Inspire or DST KVPY, Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana.
Okay.
So we are having exposure program for them. In addition, we are organizing, and you have been a member, that we are sending each year a 30 to 40 students for interaction with Nobel laureate at
Yes.
Lindau.
Yes, sir.
So these kind of programs we have been doing. One of our body, Science and Engineering Research Board, SERB,
Yes, sir.
we are supporting anybody for participation in international conference, seminar, symposium, as
Okay.
long as their paper is accepted.
Okay.
We prefer those whose paper is accepted for oral presentation. And any student who have got at least one paper, one prior paper published in a refereed journal, we would love to support.
Okay.
Okay. So, it is not very competitive, it does not demand your huge project work, it just says you have proven yourself that you are a researcher. So, you have published already one paper in a refereed journal, and now you are going for a conference to present India, and we would like to send as many fellows, and not only SERB, but Department of Biotechnology, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Council of Medical Research, National Board of Higher Mathematics, each one is supporting such schemes. So, and this scheme is open for all research scholar and even faculty. Of course, to faculty it is considered partial, because for students we are students, I mean anybody less than 35 years, we are paying travel, visa and registration cost, which takes care of their accommodation and other aspects. For faculty we are only paying travel.
Okay.
So, it is partial.
So basically, I would like to highlight that DST and the Government of India through various funding agency runs a lot of programs through which you can get an international exposure. So if you are still in India, you want to get an exposure, you have multiple exchange programs so that you can go and stay for some time. You have the DST Lindau Nobel Laureate meetings. I was also a participant of that in 2019. So you can go and interact with the Nobel laureates. Sir mentioned international travel scheme through which you can go and present your paper in an international conference. I got it in 2017 as well. So there are multiple facilities of fellowships available through which you can get an international exposure, and it could be from DST, DBT, ICAR, ICMR, various. Just look at the website and you will find n number of things. So if you are not getting anything in abroad, don't be disappointed. You have Government of India to support you for various causes. If you are interested, Raman Charpak, Newton Bhabha, there are n number of fellowships that you can avail.
In addition, I could say that we are supporting bilateral projects.
Yes.
So, if you are working in an institution where one of the faculty have got bilateral program projects, we are doing it with 44 countries across the world, then that also provides you an exposure window of a limited period, 3 to 6 months each year for working in international level.
Yeah, that I also heard, like Indo-Canadian or Indo-German and
Correct.
Indo-French programs are also there. So DST is doing its best to support the Indian researcher to go abroad and experience the foreign exposure and their work culture. This is one of the trickiest question which I always encounter, and also read about it in some newspaper, that the large number of funding and resources are there with the big fancy institutes in India, IITs, NITs, ISC, but there are a lot of students in central and state universities which do not have such expensive research facilities. So how can they do their research, or how can they get experience on those facilities?
You see, when we are talking about research facility, it is basically on DST is giving research grants on competitive basis. So if you are competitive, your faculty is competitive as compared to other faculty from other institution, you will get it. But then, as you said it, that some of the institutions are privy to the best faculty and they are attracting most of the research grants. Now, to students coming from other institutions, we have created several regional hubs. Okay. So, sophisticated equipment centers.
Yes, sir.
So, equipment which many university may not be having by themselves, so they can go to regional hubs, and we are trying that at least one hub in each state should be there. We are now coming up with another program already launched, and 3 institutions have availed it. Creation of a facility called Sathi. Program is called Sathi, and there we are giving them seed grant of 125 crores.
Okay, that's a big amount.
And asking them that they should contribute the civil infrastructure,
Okay.
building and land, other things, and they should create a infrastructure which is self-sustaining in nature, so that there are sophisticated equipment, and those equipment would be available commercially. Of course, we have asked them that students or research scholars should be least priced and industry should be highly priced.
Yes.
But these centers are going to be self-sustaining, so they will charge
They need,
money.
yeah, obviously they need money for that.
But idea is that students from a smaller place also could get their experiment done in a reasonable time, and we have started such programs.
yes, I think with IIT Delhi there is one program in
Yes.
Sonipat campus,
Yeah, yeah.
and they have good facilities. So this is a good thing sir has told us. The Sathi program, so DST has is creating a lot of regional centers where there will be expensive research facilities, and the student from any place, be it a private university or state university, central university, can get their experiment done at a very reasonable price.
So not only student, faculty, industries, NGOs, companies, anybody could come there.
Okay.
And there are differential rate. Students, the least rate.
Yes, obviously because they get the least funding.
Yeah.
This is another question. How can, obviously we are doing research, PhD, how can we, do an excellent PhD? What are the things that we should keep in mind, and what are the further prospects of a PhD? After PhD, what can you do?
You see, I don't know what is the meaning of successful PhD and number of publication, patents. So it's something very subjective.
Okay.
For me, if you are satisfied,
Yes.
that's the biggest prize.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are satisfied that okay, during my PhD I have done this.
Yes.
So this is my price. Now coming to post PhD, what you can do, of course, one is academics. You can continue being in academics. That's the easy thing to do it. Second thing is, if you have got that sense of satisfaction, you would like to try out your ideas.
Yes, sir.
So create a startup. These days in India, lot of good ambience, good infrastructure, good mechanism, good support system is available for creation of startup. So you could do that thing. Other thing I feel very appropriate is, in India still we do not have a very good knowledge about IP protection.
Yes, sir.
Now this is something scientists are always complaining that they generate IT, they publish it. Publication is not everything.
Yes, sir.
You need to, if you feel that this knowledge could be applied somewhere, file a patent.
Yes.
And then filing a patent is good step, but not everything, because then you need to get it granted.
Yes.
And once you have get it granted, you need to protect it,
Yes, sir.
because anybody could make marginal modification and reuse it. Okay, so it's a continuous series until you encash that patent.
Yes. You sell it.
Okay. Another thing I feel is about communication. You see, when you read newspaper, when you see TV, you get news about politics, you get news about sports, you get news about crimes, but where are the development news?
Yes.
Nobody talks about the contribution made to the society by the scientists. When the COVID came, everybody is expecting scientists will work out a solution, but you never bothered about them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, idea is we never communicated.
Yes.
If our journalists are not interested in research news, let researcher community who have a flair of writing, reading, expressing themselves through illustration by several examples, they should come forward. I would invite PhD students to be more expressive, at least about their own science they could tell. People who are working in biological sciences, they could go to the farms, they could go to the hospitals, they could several opportunities for each one of us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but idea is we need to be more communicative, and I would like to see a day when every day in all newspaper at least one page is reserved for the science news.
Yes, sir. There should be, sir. Yes, it should be like that. Yes, sir. Actually, this is the main motivation I started this channel, because people are not much aware about science, how it is done, and what are the benefits. So that's
And
why.
that is why people are not having confidence on Indian science.
Yes.
If you go anywhere, somebody will say, I have got a phone which is of Germany or Korea or China or US. I have got a washing machine which is German. People are not proud of showing your Indian product.
Yes.
Okay, they will always say show you what is made in abroad.
Yes.
This shows that communication could play a role in generating that kind of confidence in Indian science.
Yes, that's very much true, sir. Sir, the last question I have, what are your suggestions for all the budding researchers who want to pursue science as a career in future, be it a master, PhD or maybe school level? So what are your suggestions for all those budding researchers?
Our tomorrow is going to be driven by technology.
Yes, sir.
So gone are the days when we have already seen Stone Age, Iron Age. So all those things are gone. Tomorrow, everything would be driven by technology.
Yes, sir.
So we need to be not only technology savvy, but also we should know how best we can make use of it.
Yes, sir.
So knowledge is going to be valued now. Gone are the days when Lakshmi ji will not meet Saraswati ji.
Yes, sir.
That is gone. Now you will get Lakshmi ji only if you have Saraswati ji
Yes,
blessing on you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would recommend each one of us to master something, whatever you are most comfortable with or most passionate about it, and generate an expertise.
Yes, sir.
So you need to be master of something. You should be known by, for example, Tendulkar. Tendulkar is known for couple of shots.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dhoni, you know it for one particular shot.
Yes, sir.
That is their specialization. That is their brand value.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for example, whenever you think of McDonald's, you only think of burger. You don't think of anything else.
Yes,
they
sir.
may be selling 100 products.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You think only of one product.
Yes, sir.
So we need to create a niche area for ourselves, and if we can do that, we are a researcher, and we need to prove time and again our strength through our skill sets.
Yes, that's so. As per suggestion, you need to be first of all aware with what's going on. You need to have a technological exposure, as well as be master of at least one thing, so that you will be known for that particular thing. So besides that, I would like to say that sir is available on LinkedIn. And he's very, very, very much responsive. Trust me, I have seen the most responsive guy on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, sir, for your time, and I'm very much thankful you for all this thing.
Thank you.
So this is all. In case you miss something, just leave it in the comment section. I'll come and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Thank you very much for time, and this is all for today.